Nathan Carnes has found the groove. Over his past 5 starts, 2 wins, 1 loss, and a superb ERA of 2.30. Tonight, Carnes leads the Rays into Camden Yards, facing Orioles sluggers Chris Davis and Adam Jones. Tonight we welcome you to Baltimore, Maryland. Oriole Park at Camden Yards, where the Rays begin a 10-game road trip with this game 1 of a 3-game series between the Rays and the Baltimore Orioles. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson. Dwayne Stats, great to have you aboard. Well, the Rays make the first stop on this long road trip. They're a game out in the East. The Orioles are 2. And anytime you come to play this team in this ballpark, you're thinking and somewhat concerned about the big left-handed bat of Chris Davis.
Yeah, and when you think about Chris Davis with the Rays this year, it's good news, bad news. Number one, they've pitched him very well this year, holding him just to 2 for 15, no home runs, and 1 run driven in. Now for the bad news, he's heating up, and he's heating up right now. Last 3 games, 4 out of 10, 3 of those have left the yard. That's what you're always nervous about. This is a guy who likes the ball, prefers the ball down, and he wants to get his arms extended. You can pitch to him, you just can't make mistakes. We'll see if the Rays can continue their success against Chris Davis. It'll be up to Nathan Carnes. He'll get the first crack at it. Look what he's done his last 5 starts. The numbers, 2-1, ERA 2.30, outstanding. The big reason why he has limited his walks, and I'm going to tell you something, his stuff is good enough that if you as a hitter are forced to beat him and he's not beating himself, his stuff is good enough to get the job done. We've seen that his last 5 starts, and he'll try to keep it going tonight.
So the Rays begin this road trip in the series tonight at Camden Yards. Moments away, the Rays and the Orioles coming up next. One, two, three. The Rays 2-4 against this Baltimore club. And tonight they'll have Kevin Kiermaier leading off as we take a look at the starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Joey Butler follows, and then Evan Longoria. David DeJesus hits cleanup in front of second baseman Logan Forsythe. Steven Souza Jr. back to the lineup, followed by his Drupal Cabrera. Jake Elmore is at first base, and Rene Rivera hits ninth and does the catching. We are set to play baseball. Miguel Gonzalez on the hill for Baltimore, and the first pitch of this game presented by Pitch a Penny, a cut and a miss, strike one.
Well, Miguel Gonzalez 5-3 on the season, a 3.83 earned run average in 9 starts.
0-2. Gonzalez, as we have seen through the years, take a look at his numbers this year. 5-3. Not a hard thrower, but he can be a problem to deal with.
No,
1-2.
He's got a good feel for pitching. Like you said, the stuff is not going to blow you away. He's not going to overpower too many hitters, but he knows what he's doing out there, and he knows how to utilize the entire strike zone.
And strike 3 call. He catches Kiermaier looking. Fastball for strike 3.
Now let's take a quick look at the Baltimore Orioles defense, brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have David Lowe, Adam Jones, and Travis Snyder. Across the infield third to first, Manny Machado, J.J. Hardy, Ryan Flaherty, and Chris Davis, with Caleb Joseph behind the plate.
Joey Butler hitting .311. Takes the first pitch for a strike.
Well, what we've seen already is Miguel Gonzalez through the first few pitches of this game very sharp and to both sides of the plate. That fastball away for strike 1, and then the sinker that he runs in on Joey Butler for strike 2.
Upstairs.
That's where, Dwayne, when you talk about him being a problem to deal with, when he's on, and if he can continue to pitch like this to both sides of the plate, that's where you go up there and you have a hard time narrowing down and bearing down on what he's trying to do, like that.
There's a wave and a miss. Well, you mentioned that sinker, and he can get that in a little bit to a right-handed hitter, and then he goes away with a slider. He's already got pitches moving in 2 separate directions.
Yeah, he has been sharp, and he's been sharp against the Rays. Look at this. The 2 starts versus the Rays, 13 1/3 innings, just 1 earned run. Did have the 5 walks in that first start, but still was able to pitch out of some jams, gave up just the 1 earned.
Here's Evan Longoria. Upstairs. Evan, 7 of 28, 250 in his career against Gonzalez, with a home run in that mix. 2-0. Three balls, no strikes.
Well, listen, you look at the way that the Rays lineup is laid out. You got David DeJesus behind Evan Longoria trying to give him some protection, but the bottom line is when you fall behind, you're just not going to give him anything to hit right now.
He's going 3-0.
And because that may be the best pitch that he sees.
And not a great pitch to hit.
No, not at all. That wasn't out over the plate. That ball was on the outer third, maybe right on the outside corner. But Evan knowing, hey, listen, I may not see anything better than this. I'm going to take a rip at it.
A little chopper to the shortstop, Hardy. And a 1-2-3 first inning for Miguel Gonzalez. Good start for the right-hander. bottom of the first inning here in Baltimore. And the lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. We'll find Manny Machado at the top, followed by Travis Snyder. Jimmy Paredes swinging a very hot bat, the DH. Adam Jones, Chris Davis, and J.J. Hardy down the middle. David Lowe hits seventh. Caleb Joseph does the catching. Ryan Flaherty, back recently off the disabled list. He's at second base.
Well, taking the mound tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays, right-hander Nathan Karns making his 10th start. It's his third start against the Orioles. They got to him for 6 earned runs in 5 2/3 innings in Game 2 of the season. However, his last time out at the beginning of this month, 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs on just 66 pitches.
There's Manny Machado going after the first one, a chopper foul toward the coaching box. Strike one. Machado is hitting .272. Well, the Rays start the night at 24-24. The Orioles are 22-24. 0-2, that pitch in there for a strike. Rays falling to the 500 mark for the first time since the 23rd of April as a result of their 5-game tailspin here. It's Longoria with the throw to first in time to get Machado.
Well, let's take a look at the Tampa Bay defense and see how that's going to line up tonight behind Nathan Karns, brought to you by BMW. In the outfield, left to right, we have David DeJesus, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. back in the lineup. Across the infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Asdrubal Cabrera, Logan Forsythe, Jake Elmore getting the start at first base with Rene Rivera behind the plate.
There's Travis Snyder. Elmore at first. They've moved Forsythe back to second. And that's a situation where Kevin Cash trying to weigh the defensive impact of moving Forsythe to first as he did for a couple of games due to the injuries. And Logan's been so steady at second base, so why weaken 2 spots on that right side? And Elmore says, hey, I can play anywhere you want me to play. He's made a point of making himself as versatile as he can be. So he's at first.
Well, you just understand where the value is and how valuable that is, not only to the Rays, but we're seeing that around baseball. So smart move on Jake Elmore's part, and I think a smart move on Kevin Cash's part, keeping the middle of the Rays defense strong. Forsythe, Cabrera, Kiermaier with Rivera behind the plate.
Well, we've seen in recent days how critical that is. There's a foul ball coming straight back and out of play. 2-2. We've seen how critical that is to the Rays' success. They've been so good defensively, and on that last homestand had a couple of situations that got away from them, extra outs given, and you don't usually see the Rays defense allow that. And the way the East is setting up, BA, it's so fine, the line between success and failure. It's a close race from top to bottom.
3.5 games is all that separates all 5 teams.
Snyder takes the 3-2 pitch to center, and Kiermaier takes care of that. 2 outs.
Well, it just doesn't seem like any team can get anything rolling consistently. Put together 2 or 3 games, you say, oh, this is when they're going to break out of it, and then all of a sudden a couple steps backwards.
You saw the Yankees get out. They came back. You saw the Rays with a run. They're now back to 500. You really seem to feel that if a team, if they continue to jockey back and forth this way, the team that can win 6 or 7 or 8 games in a row might win the thing. Big cut and a miss by Paredes. And then here comes this guy, Jimmy Paredes. He starts the day 3rd in the league and hitting at .340. And you think, well, who leads this team in slugging percentage? Well, you think maybe Adam Jones or maybe Chris Davis. Wrong. It's Jimmy Paredes.
Well, it seems like there's a guy every year on each team that steps up out of nowhere. You know, Steve Pearce last year. Now it's Jimmy Paredes. You see him now in the 3-hole with those kind of numbers. Big time damage.
The strike, 1-2. Off speed dropped in there by Karns. Right side with the shift, and that is Forsythe to take care of Paredes. And 1, 2, 3 go the Orioles. On to the second, scoreless. Rays baseball on Sun Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By H.H. Gregg. Top brands, low prices, fast delivery. Gregg's got it. And by Morgan Auto Group. We'll go to the second inning, and David DeJesus hitting cleanup for the Rays. Leads it off. Then Forsythe and Souza Jr. First pitch is a strike.
Well, Kevin Cash trying to find any combination in the lineup that will work, that will get something done. David DeJesus, who's had a fine a year as anybody for the Rays offensively, in the power spot.
Ground ball backhanded by Davis, who makes the play unassisted. Sharply hit, but Davis right there for it.
Chris Davis had him played well. He's got sure hands. And that's all you can ask as your first baseman. Soft hands.
Well, it's Logan Forsythe. Logan has a half dozen at bats against Gonzalez. 3 for 6 in his career. Pitch is a strike. Rays last faced Gonzalez on the 2nd of this month. He pitched 7 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. He's ahead of Forsythe. Logan had 2 of the 3 hits he has in his career off him in that game, a double and a single. But down 0-2 right now. One ball, 2 strikes.
Well, as sharp as Gonzalez has been here in the early going, it looks like the mistakes may be held to a minimum by Miguel. So when you do get something out over the plate, you can't miss it, foul it off, pop it up. You've got to make him pay.
Forsythe is out on strikes.
I mean, just look at these sequences. You know, start you away with Logan Forsythe, strike 1, elevate the heater, run a sinker down and in, then a cutter away. I mean, he really has complete command of all of his pitches on both sides of the plate. Subtle, 85.
And like I said, that was set up by the previous pitch, which was a ball running in on Forsythe.
Well, there's Steven Souza Jr. back in the lineup, fouling away the first pitch fastball. Souza returning to the lineup. He left Sunday's game against Oakland with a sprained left wrist. And he's behind in the count. A couple of fastballs. 0-2.
You go up as a hitter and you try to get yourself in the batter's box. Okay, I've got a plan. I've got an at-bat I want to work. And before you know it, first of all, Miguel Gonzalez is pounding the zone, and he's doing it quickly. And you blink, and you're down on the count 0-2.
He's been ahead of every hitter except Longoria, and there was some wisdom in him actually being careful and pitching around Longoria.
Look at the two pitches that Evan Longoria swung at: a 3-0 fringe fastball and a 3-1 slider that was well located down and away.
Oh, he leaves this one out, and a long one to left, way back and out of here. Home run for Souza. That's number 8 for Steven Souza Jr. and the Rays take a 1-0 lead. Well, you were talking about hitting the mistake. He did.
You just can't miss him. When a guy is locked in early, you've just got to take advantage of any opening he gives you. And Souza Jr. did just that. This was a hanger.
You could see they wanted the pitch down and away.
This is one time a backup slider does not work out.
So the long ball gives the Rays an early lead. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. The ball, no strikes. Well, that's what power can do for you. If you've got home run power and they make a mistake, you could get a run in a hurry. Tap to the right side for Flaherty. And that takes care of the Rays, but they're on the board on the long home run to left off the bat of Steven Souza Jr. Behind in the count, a slider over the plate. The Rays lead 1-0.
Jr. back in the lineup. His home run has given the Rays a 1-0 lead. Wayne and BA were discussing the shift in the middle infield with Logan Forsythe going back to second. That was made possible by Jake Elmore starting his first Major League game ever at first base. Doesn't even have his own first baseman's glove. He played a couple of games there as a rookie league player, guys, his first year in the minor leagues, and then played 1 inning there with the Astros in Oakland in 2013. He said the two biggest plays he has to get used to: the ball up the middle with a runner on second, where you think you have to go to first to cover the bag, and then if it gets through, you have to be the cutoff man at the mound. And the other one is knowing where Logan Forsythe is. He said especially on the shift, as Evan Longoria makes a nice play to his left. High throw, and there he is being tested for the first time. And Elmore comes down on the bag for the first out. In the shift with Chris Davis, guys, knowing where Logan Forsythe is and not going after that ball in the hole and trusting that his second baseman is going to get there. That was the first play he made in the first inning of any Major League game when he played that bottom of the 11th as an Astro. Didn't get any ground balls in that inning. Guys, back to you.
And there he is, going right up and right back down on the bag to gather in that throw.
And this is what's going to be interesting, this entire ball game, watching the throws from the infielders. You know, you're used to a guy like James Loney over there, 6'3" with the big wingspan. Jake Elmore 5'9", not nearly as big a target.
So one out here in the second, and here is Chris Davis with that shift. And that's also an interesting concern he had there, because if you're playing that shift, his instinct on something hit to his right would be to maybe go after it. But Forsythe is right out there in short right field.
And you just missed it, but Jake Elmore here, Logan Forsythe right there, and he just took a peek back. Okay, where are you? I get ready to play my position.
And a cut and a miss. 2-2.
Well, that's something that the Rays have done a great job of. We talked about the success that Davis has had in the last 3 games, but also the success the Rays have had over the course of the season series so far. Just 2 out of 15. They've been able to execute pitches, and if you do that, you can get it.
Well, the foul ball back. Well, the Rays, you might say, pioneered that shift, and now Houston came along and they're shifting more than the Rays. But the shift so affected Davis last year on those ground balls, those short line drives. With the shift, he hit 121, and without it, he hit 333.
And really, in this day and age, who are the people not shifting against Chris Davis?
Yeah.
How are you even giving him that opportunity?
I saw those numbers. What did he go, 2 for 6 against somebody who didn't shift on him? But that 121 average, trying to hit into the shift. And he's out on strikes here. First strikeout for Carnes.
Well, there are definite holes in the swing of Chris Davis, and they're more than one. And the Rays, you can get him with the fastball elevated that's close to him. Here Nathan Carnes goes with the fastball away after making him aware of pitches close to him. You see he just kind of waves at that. But the key is you've got to be able to execute. You don't execute, and you're backing up bases or asking for a new ball.
J.J. Hardy. The ball, no strikes. Two outs with the bases empty. Hardy has spent time on the disabled list with a left shoulder strain. He's played in just under half of the Orioles games this year.
I'll tell you, I like the pace that Nathan Carnes is setting. I mean, he's right back up on the rubber, ready to go. Quick as we've seen any Rays starter.
And a cut and a miss. That will take care of Hardy and Baltimore. Through 2, 1-0 Rays. Rays with a 1-0 lead. We go to the third. Enter now for a chance to win a trip to the MLB All-Star Game on Fox for you and 3 of your friends. Upload 2 photos at foxsports.com/fantastic all-star now through June 3rd. Here's Jake Elmore. No ball, no strikes. Elmore, Rivera, and Kiermaier for the Rays. Two and 0. Elmore talking about playing first base and being versatile. His approach at the plate has changed a little bit as well. Takes a strike there. It's 2-1. You hear a lot of hitters talk about working the count and seeing a lot of pitches, and he's tried to simplify that a little bit. He's not going to chase bad pitches, but if it's a strike, he's swinging.
Well, I think it's because his approach, while it worked well in AAA, he never was able to hold on to a big league job. And he said, you know what? Forget it. If I'm not going to take that fastball out over the plate early in the count, they want to throw that thing out there like you said. I'm not going to go chase it, but strike one out over the meat of the plate, and I'm letting it rip.
There's a line drive and a base hit up the middle off a fastball. So Elmore, in his first at bat tonight, got ahead of the count. Singles into center.
Oh, another mistake by Miguel Gonzalez, and look at Jake Elmore right up the middle with a rocket. Leadoff runner aboard, always a good thing.
Well, it seems that Elmore has decided to be aggressive and simplify the approach. That seems to be a great combination. Here's Rene Rivera. Lifting a fly ball into right. That'll send Snyder back a few steps. One away.
Well, I'll tell you what. He has the prototype of that approach here in the building tonight. And he plays center field for the Baltimore Orioles. Simple, aggressive. I mean, the numbers that he puts up year in and year out. I'm talking about Adam Jones, if you haven't figured that out.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of seeing Andre Dawson have some great years with the Cubs, and his approach was like that. It was all about driving in runs. It wasn't about walking.
No.
Not at all.
No.
So, and that's how Jones is. Here's Kiermaier. 1 ball, no strikes. In fact, I think that mindset was more prevalent then than it is now. Run producers, they were up there. Pitchers, and you try to take advantage of that if you could. Men in scoring position, they might chase a pitch. But they were aggressive.
Well, and the really good run producers have really good plate coverage. They get to that stuff. That's why they produce runs. You're not grooving. Every once in a while, they're going to get mistakes out over the plate, but they're having to hit tough pitches from guys who are trying to stay away from the heart of the plate, and so their plate coverage is typically elite. You don't have many guys in the middle of the lineup hitting home runs, driving runs in that can only handle balls on one half of the plate.
Yep. Elmore at first, 1 away, and Kiermaier up in the count. Lifts it into center. Jones will be there in shallow center field. So 2 away. And now the hitter will be Joey Butler. Rays facing Miguel Gonzalez. He turned 31 last Tuesday. He's had a nice run here with Baltimore. Ground ball to short. Hardy to second for the force. The Rays get a hit, leave a man, and lead 1-0 through 2.5. Cards on the hill for the Rays. He has set a very nice pace through the first couple of innings, and recently his work has set a great pace.
Well, and I think that is a big reason why, and even Nathan Carnes himself has said, listen, I can't be walking guys. The extra base runners lead to extra runs. He's walked 22 hitters this year. 9 of them have come around to score, and so he's realized the value in making these hitters earn their way aboard.
Lowe going after the first pitch, popping it foul. That will carry out of play. The other thing about him, he seems to have a clear idea of how he wants to approach a game now.
I think some of it are the numbers that we just saw. The 2.30 earned run average in his last 5 starts, the confidence in his game plan, confidence in what he's doing, and you can see that with the pace that he's setting out on the mound. After he throws a pitch, he already has an idea. Okay, what I want to do. Let me gather myself and look. He's right back on the rubber, ready to go. Great sign.
Low late on that one.
I think another thing is the Rays are so good at putting these game plans together for the specific pitcher. And so Nathan Carnes has seen the fruit of that play out in front of him. Like, hey, these things they're good. It's just about me executing these pitches.
Oh, strike 3 call right there. He gets low looking. It's 3 consecutive strikeouts. Well, here's the other thing about pacing and location of pitches. If you're consistently around that zone, you've got a chance to get the umpire on that same pacing and calling strikes himself.
He will totally buy right in. He will absolutely buy right in. You're working quick. You're around the zone. You're one of those guys that is seizing the moment. Taking the initiative. They can't help but get in line.
And Ron Culpa, who is the plate umpire tonight, is one of those umpires. He will call a strike. He's not afraid to call strikes on either side of the plate, and sometimes up a little bit. And if you can show him that you can consistently hit the spot that you're looking for, he'll go with you.
Oh, we saw that the first hitter of the game.
Oh, nice stop there. Longoria leaving his feet, the throw into the runner, and the tag by Elmore coming off the bag.
Hey, I'm telling you, this is going to be interesting to watch all game long. As long as Jake Elmore gets those starts, we talked about it earlier, just 5 feet 9 inches tall, not nearly the same wingspan as your normal everyday first baseman James Loney, and a couple throws here already have challenged Jake Elmore. Nicely done here, though. The tag after coming off the bag.
You know, the one thing I think he has going for him is that he's been an infielder.
Yes.
And I think that footwork and the agility helps him maneuver the way he's going to have to at times at first base.
Yeah, you don't have a mannequin or a statue down there that knows, okay, let me get a foot on the bag. You're right. He's an infielder. He's more athletic than your typical first baseman, and he will have to call upon that athleticism to make some plays. He's already had to do it twice.
Flaherty lifts the one-strike pitch out of play. DeJesus hustling over there, but no chance. And a celebration underway for that individual down the left field line. Feeling good about things right now.
Very excited. I want to peak too soon, though. Just the third.
Early. Breaking ball taken for a ball. It's 1-2. Two. This for the fastball. That one up around 94. Carnes making its 10th start of the year. Now it's 3-2.
Yeah, and if I'm Nathan Carnes, I'm kind of annoyed too, because I got ahead. That fastball up and away was borderline. Call didn't go my way. Now I think I got him set up for the hook. He takes it.
And he's down there with a fastball. Well, a couple of pitches there that you'd like to get. So a 2-out walk.
Well, and that's another thing that Nathan Carnes, we talk about his walks. How about this? 11 now of the 23 walks. We talked about 9 of the 22 have scored. 11 of the 23 now have come with 2 outs.
Yep. And he missed in a spot where Culpa doesn't give that pitch a lot. Down and away to left-handed hitters. Well, here's Machado lifting a high fly ball toward the line and left. DeJesus takes care of that. So we're through 3 with the Rays on top. It's a 1-0 game, and Evan Longoria will open the 4th when we come back.
Yes.
Well, here we go into the 4th inning in Baltimore with the Rays leading 1-0, our Toyota trend. And you can see the win and loss breakdown and how the performance of Evan Longoria affects this team.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, if you could just have Evan Longoria hit 380 plus for you, the Rays would be undefeated.
Yeah.
You do it's simple math, and we just saw it. He hits 384.
That's the winning formula.
Rays are 48 or 46-0, whatever it is.
Ground ball to short, picked by Hardy, and his throw is in time.
Well, listen, in all seriousness, how often do we talk about it? When Evan Longoria is driving runs in and he's in the middle of the mix, well, the Rays are going to win a lot more than they lose, and that's obvious.
Well, and that's why it was good and would be really great to get a couple of these hitters back. And we saw that in that first at bat how difficult it is for essentially a lone primary run producer to survive in the middle of that lineup. Tough to do.
What you fear is him starting to expand his zone, trying to make something happen.
David DeJesus lines a base hit into center. He continues his hot hitting.
Yeah, Evan Longoria, I think, feels so much responsibility for the success of this team that early on he'll be patient, he'll take his walks, he'll have that high on base percentage, but after a while a few more guys go down and all of a sudden he wants to start making it happen, and he starts to expand his strike zone, and then his numbers start to go down.
Yeah, and one of the things that you admire so much about him is that he's that way.
Yeah.
In a look at me society now, he's not that guy, but he'll take that responsibility on. But sometimes, as you point out, that becomes an issue because he's trying to turn things into offense that pitches won't allow him to do.
First at bat.
Yep.
3-0. He swings at a borderline heater, 3-0, and then 3-1. He swings at a pitcher's pitch, a slider that's not drivable, down and away.
Liner into left, Lowe coming in to make the catch. Forsythe is out. 2 gone, and DeJesus back to first. And I think, you know, he knows that, but there's also a part of him that so wants to, with a couple of guys hurt, then redouble his efforts in his production. And boy, what a fine line that is.
It is because that fastball that he swung at 3-0, that was the best pitch that he had seen to that point, and he's not going to let it go by, but it's the best pitch that he had seen. It wasn't a good pitch to try to drive.
Yep.
You know, it's a pitch you got to swing at with 2 strikes, but that's about it.
Steven Souza Jr. hit a mistake out to left his first time. 1 strike to count on him this time around with the foul ball. Souza's 8th home run of the year. He had 1 on the homestand in the Oakland series. There's that 1-2 pitch that he hit out.
No doubter. A cursory glance by Miguel Gonzalez and immediately asking for a new baseball.
The strike. 1-2.
Well, Gonzalez will put a lot into a hitter's mind. You saw the curveball there. You'll see the slider. Some will resemble a cutter. We've seen the 2-seamer, the 4-seamer. A lot of different weapons.
Down to short. Hardy with a toss to Flaherty. Bottom of the 4th coming. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Grow Financial. Don't go through life, grow through life with Grow Financial Federal Credit Union. And by Courtesy Toyota. You'll love what we do for you. 1-0 Rays on a second inning home run by Steven Souza Jr. Travis Snyder hitting second, and Buck Showalter's lined up, leads off. Jimmy Paredes next, and then Adam Jones. That's a strike. A good location on the opening pitch there by Carnes to get ahead. Oh, 2.
That's what getting ahead does for Nathan Carnes. It allows him to use that curveball in different ways. He's able to throw it there for a strike. Now he can take that pitch down and out of the zone. Or he can spike a changeup. Either one. It all plays.
It's a ball and 2 strikes. He set a great pace. And I really think his pace tonight has been quicker than any we've seen all year.
It really jumped out in that second inning. You're like, man, Nathan Carnes is not wasting a whole lot of time here. Hey, you're trying to make a comment about a pitch or a sequence, and you got to rush it in there because, you know, on a ball that's taken, he's right back up on the rubber. You got to hope for a foul ball.
Count still, the ball, 2 strikes. We remember him last year. A couple of games we saw him. He was very deliberate.
I really think that with the Rays as a team, as a whole, was by design. You know, just to slow the game down. Everybody was doing it.
There's a base hit the other way. Out of the reach of Longoria. Snyder has a leadoff single. That's the first hit for Baltimore.
Well, and that was a good piece of hitting there by Travis Snyder. A fastball that's away from him, and he just lets it get into the zone before he just whacks it into left field. But kind of curious there. You don't ever like to second guess, a pitcher's pitch selection. Heaven forbid that's happened a million times. You just like to stay away from that. But why he abandoned that curveball after getting strike 2 with it? Really thought that he could expand the zone with that pitch against Snyder, and we didn't see it again.
Especially because it really has been a great pitch for him, not only tonight, but in the past.
A true power curveball, a true wipeout kind of pitch, where he can use it in the zone, and he can take it down below the zone with good depth to get swings and misses.
And really to the point where people were the opinion he had the best curveball in the organization. 1-1 to count. Coming off the start against Oakland on Saturday, pitched 5 2/3 with 2 runs, 7-hit baseball in that one. One and 2.
I'll tell you, Nathan Carnes has had 2 clunkers of starts this year. Outside of that, he has been very consistent. I mean, 2 earned or fewer in 7 of his 9 starts. It's just, can he get deeper into games? Can he get past that between 5 and 6 innings of work?
Well, he takes care of Paredes.
Is that changeup going to start becoming a put-away weapon too? We know how the Rays as an organization, they love that pitch. And it's been Nathan Carnes' 3rd. But this one here, look at the finish on it. Look at the depth.
Well, he has 4 strikeouts, 2 on a fastball, 1 on a curveball, and that one on the change. So he's spreading the wealth around. It'd be an extra weapon that would be great to have that confidence in that pitch. Adam Jones in the box.
Here's the other thing that we'll do. If he's able to build confidence in that pitch and be able to use it as a weapon, you want to get deeper into a game, have 3 different pitches that you can go to. To where this, the third time through the lineup, you still have an element of surprise. You're not just a 2-pitch guy with a show-me third pitch. That actual third pitch can get you out. Now you've got a chance to face that lineup third time through, fourth time through.
Well, they talk about how really all of sport really is a game of percentages. But if you can add another weapon instead of 2, 3, it multiplies your advantage in terms of the percentage in any given situation.
Third time through a lineup, guy may not have seen your changeup yet, and all of a sudden you drop that on him. Okay. That's why the better pitchers in the game always try to hold on to something. That first time through the lineup. If it's a 4-pitch guy, maybe they try to hang on to that curveball. They're going to go fastball, slider, changeup. Something that second and third time through they can introduce and now put something else in your mind and something else on the plate.
2-1 the count on Jones. Jones went out third to first his first time. Lifts it into center field. Kiermaier closes to make the catch. 2 gone. Snyder back to first. Well, the leadoff single. And then the strikeout of Paredes and a fly ball to center, taking care of Jones. That'll be the big bat of Chris Davis. Davis went to 3-2 in the second inning before Carnes got him on the fastball swinging. Inside a bit. 1-0. Two balls, no strikes. This with the curveball. Inside with a fastball. That's 3-0.
This is where you got to be careful. Chris Davis has the green light. You don't want to throw a strike for the sake of throwing one in this situation.
And he takes it too tight for ball 4, pushing Snyder up to second.
Now the problem is another 2-out walk. That's now half of Nathan Karn's walks this year have come with 2 outs. That being said, they have not come out, not come back to haunt him. I mean, runners in scoring position and 2 outs. The opposition just 1 for 16 off Nathan Karns with no RBIs. And the hit did not even knock in a run. So while the 2-out walk is annoying and it adds to the pitch count, it hasn't necessarily hurt him. Hopefully he can wiggle out of this jam.
J.J. Hardy. You got him swinging on a curveball the first time. And starts him with that pitch, a strike call. Right back with a fastball, and it's 0-2.
Couldn't have put these pitches in better spots, as you can see on Fox Tracks. Curveball at the bottom of the zone, and then the fastball right on the corner.
Low, blocked, and it's 1-2. Karns retired the first 80 base and walked Flaherty. Got Machado on a fly ball. Opened this inning giving up the single to Snyder. 2 outs later, the walk to Davis. 2 men on with 2 men out. 1-2 the count. He got him to go. He's out on strikes. And that will retire the side. Curveball for the second time. Retires Hardy. 1-0 Rays. Presented in video. Great moment in Rays history. Presented by Geico. It was on this day in 2012. Hideki Matsui makes his Rays debut and hits a 2-run blast in the 4th inning of that game. One of 2 home runs Matsui hit in a Rays uniform. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera to open the 5th. Pitch is down. Elmore will follow, and then Rivera. Rays have 1 run coming on the Souza home run. That's it. Facing Miguel Gonzalez. Back at first. Scooped by Davis with that big mitt. And he makes the play unassisted. You know, you look at this Baltimore ball club, and as we've discussed in the other games that the Rays and the Orioles have played, Buck Showalter has taken a lot of players who are not stars in their own right and gotten great production out of it. This team has done that well. The Rays have, I think, accomplished the same results doing some of that. Elmore takes a strike. But the one thing the Rays have done consistently is play good defense. And the Orioles are that way as well. You look around at this club, and some of them would surprise you, but they have plus defenders. 0-2 the count. And even Chris Davis, you know, at first base is a plus defender. You might not necessarily think that coming right off the top of your head, but Machado, we saw him. So on the corners, Hardy at shortstop. You've got Jones anchoring the outfield. And in the absence of Wieters, Caleb Joseph has done a nice job behind the plate for them. There's a line drive down to first, and Davis makes the catch on that one. 2 gone.
Wasn't it just a couple of years ago that the Rays and the Orioles were both setting the Major League record for fewest errors in a season, with Baltimore leading the way?
And it's really consistent with Buck Showalter being here with Baltimore and with what the Rays have been preaching all along during their successful years. You catch the ball. You make the plays you're supposed to make. You don't ask people to be supermen all the time. You just play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And you got a chance to be good night in and night out. And that's what these two organizations have done.
You think about a Buck Showalter managed team, you think solid. Solid fundamentally, and he is one of the masters at putting guys in positions to succeed. Whether it's in the lineup, a specific role on the team, their position, where to play him, left or right. I mean, he just has a great feel. Listen, you have to be a Buck Showalter kind of player or you won't be around very long. You go look and watch. He goes to a new team. He takes stock of what's there. The riffraff goes. He gets his guys, and that's how he builds a team.
A 1-1 count. Cut and the miss by Rivera. Now 1-2. And I think we've been around long enough that all of us see managers, coaches. One of the formulas is to put your team into a position to win. You try to accumulate players who buy into that. And that's part of the mindset that's required. 2-2 the count on Rivera.
And Buck doesn't care how tremendous of a ball player you are if you don't buy in. He's got no time for it. You're going to buy in or you're going to find yourself on another ball club. That's just the bottom line. And that's why his teams are just quiet. They're solid. Very close-knit squads.
Pop fly short right. Snyder coming in. Makes the catch, and the Rays are up and down in order. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 1-0 Tampa Bay. It's a 1-0 ball game. Rays lead onto the bottom of the 5th, and tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Take a look right there. Cold Hard Facts, American League's lowest opponent's average through May, and the Rays at 222. You look at some of those other clubs, the White Sox of 90, Oakland in 81, and the Orioles in 73. Jim Palmer was here, part of that.
Well, you know what? And unfortunately for us, Dwayne, he's not here in the ballpark tonight because we could ask him about that in the 400 and some odd innings he threw.
Oh, I'm telling you, he had a run of years that seem impossible by today's standards. How about pitching 319 innings in 1 year?
How about the other stat you told me about the shutouts?
He had 10 shutouts one year.
In a season?
Yeah, 10 in a season.
That's a good career. That's a good career. The next time we come into town, because we love when he comes in and does some. There he is. That's not the version I'm talking about. But when he comes into the booth and starts telling us stories,
yep.
I want to sit on his lap next time.
Line drive going to be caught by Cabrera to retire David Lowe.
And I want video of it, because he comes in, he leads the charge, he tells us all about what's going on.
Yep.
Gives us an update on the ball club, and then he'll throw in a few, old-time stories.
Mm-hmm.
But
some great stuff.
Yep.
We'll ask him about 1977, and he'll tell us he had 22 complete games, 319 innings. 22 complete games.
Do you think if you picked one of the CG shut pieces that he could probably break down most pitches that he threw in that game?
I would not be surprised.
Especially if you asked him about the strikeouts in that game, he would know the pitch, the hitter, what he did, everything else.
Yep. You say, well, in 1977 he had 22 complete games, and he'd say, yeah, but the year before I had 23 complete games.
Yes, he would. That's actually a direct quote.
1-1 the count here. Those are just astounding figures.
But then what he would say after that? But that's nothing, because the year before that I had 25. And if you don't believe me, you just go read my plaque in Cooperstown, big boy.
He had 3 years in his career in which he pitched and accumulated 300 or more innings. 3-1 to count on Caleb Joseph. On a play, and the count goes full. We were talking earlier, interesting about the conversation with Terry Collins and the Mets about a 6-man rotation.
Yes.
Well, Palmer could throw all those innings because they had a 4-man rotation. Hot shot, and what a catch by Longoria. Evan Longoria, horizontal to the ground, stretched out and made the catch.
Does this ball even stay fair? I mean, he may have crossed the line into foul territory going after this. That ball ripped right up the third base line, and a heck of a play by a man who's got a couple of Gold Gloves. Well, that may have hooked foul. Unbelievable. What a play.
Well, that's the Gold Glove caliber of defense that Longoria gives the Rays down at third. Ryan Flaherty swings and misses. An outstanding play by Evan on that hot shot off the bat of Joseph, the catcher. That's a strike, and it's 0-2. But back to that 4-man rotation. Earl Weaver, the manager, didn't like a 5-man rotation. He said he had a tough enough time to get 4 good starting pitchers. How's he going to find 5? And there's talking now about a possible 6-man rotation with the Mets.
I mean, all of the different practices that are being put into play, all of the arm injuries. You talk about the Tommy John epidemic. Now you're talking about 6-man rotation. The Houston Astros in the minor league system are doing tandem starters.
Yep.
So you got piggyback.
Flaherty called out on strikes. Caught looking, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. In part thanks to this great catch by Longoria. holding a 1-0 lead, coming on the home run by Steven Souza Jr. Hit a slider that caught too much of the plate. Nathan Carnes through 5 has been very, very good.
I'll tell you what, a couple of walks, both with 2 outs, but other than that, Nathan Carnes has been spectacular. 1 hit, no runs.
Top of the order for the Rays. Here's Kevin Kiermaier. The first pitch strike by Miguel Gonzalez.
Now, how about a little bit of breathing room?
That would be nice.
It would be. Although Miguel Gonzalez, outside of 1 mistake, a backup slider, he's been pretty good too.
0-2 the count on Kiermaier. Well, Kevin was called up for good a year ago yesterday. One ball, 2 strikes. Two and 2. Butler next, and then Longoria. High fly ball into right. Snyder going back. He's going to have room a few steps in front of the track. 1 away. Rays have a run on 3 hits. Here's Joey Butler. Strike 1. We'll show you how evenly matched this has been. Carnes through the first 5 had faced 18 hitters, and Gonzalez through the first 5 had faced 18 hitters. Starting his 3rd time through here in the 6th.
Both pitchers working quickly, working ahead for the most part, making pitches to both sides of the plate. And these hitters not getting great swings. That's an example, Dwayne, of what you were talking about with Ron Kulpa behind the plate. You're working quick, you're working around the zone. That pitch right there was borderline at best. That may have even been off, but you get the call. Anything close will go the pitcher's way.
2 and 2. I account for that, and the fact that Ron Kulpa grew up in St. Louis with all those great pitchers there. Turned out to be a pitcher's like mentality behind the plate. He'll give you those corners in most cases, not always. In fact, he was the last home plate umpire in Busch Memorial Stadium, and when they moved into the new stadium, he was the first home plate umpire of that game. St. Louis trivia.
And you still are reluctant to open up our private investigative firm in the offseason. How?
Swing and a miss. So Butler is out on strikes. Tonight's high def highlight presented by H.H. Gregg, and Longoria has given us more than one tonight.
Well, and it's not surprising because Evan Longoria is an elite defender, and he's made plays to his left and he has made plays to his right. Nothing new for number 3. Oh, right in the ribs.
Hit by that pitch. Well, he appears to be all right.
Boy, that ball took off. Arm side run from Miguel Gonzalez, and that caught Evan Longoria right in the rib cage. Ouch.
Yeah, that was a direct hit.
Yeah, it was. You could see him close down that elbow, and you're thinking, well, maybe it hit that elbow guard. That would help. But I think it snuck behind that and got him right in the ribs.
And David DeJesus. Takes a strike. DeJesus lined a single into center in the fourth. Two. He's got the run in the second on the Souza Jr. home run. We're in the sixth. Up and in a bit. He's him back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Will be out of play, and we'll see another 1-2 delivery.
Miguel Gonzalez taking account of all of the video off David DeJesus and how he's been swinging the bat, trying to crowd him with some pitches in. We've seen a lot of these pitchers in the last few weeks staying away from David DeJesus for the most part, and he's been more than happy to take them into left field. Caitlin Joseph, he wants this pitch way down.
Into left. It's going to hang up enough. Lowe makes the catch. And the Rays leave Longoria at first. Bottom of the sixth coming. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Fox Sports 1 returns as the Diamondbacks take on the Brewers at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then at 7 p.m. Eastern, it's baseball night in America on Fox as the Dodgers battle the Cardinals. Coverage begins at 4 p.m. Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox and Fox Sports 1. On to the bottom of inning 6. It will be the top of the order for Baltimore. Manny Machado leads off against Nathan Carnes. And there's a fastball. Just missed. Snyder next, and then Paredes. Too high, 2-0. Fly ball into left. Here comes DeJesus closing. He's got it, one away. So a breaking ball, 2-0 there.
You know, not being predictable. Nathan Karns, 2-0, Manny Machado, he's probably expecting, looking for fastball, and he's able to goad him into swinging at a 2-0 off speed delivery. A ball off the end of the bat, and out. The confidence grows. Third time through. Nathan Karns has not been fortunate enough to see third time through the order in a game tight like this before.
First pitch is a strike to Snyder.
This is really how you earn the trust of your manager, your pitching coach, your teammates.
0-1. Two balls and a strike. Ground ball to second. It's handled by Forsythe. So 2 gone. This is what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live. The pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast condo dealers. Chris Archer. We'll hear from Chris coming off that great effort against Seattle. And Doug Wechter will break down the Orioles starter, Wei-Yin Chen. We'll be with you at 3:30 tomorrow.
If you didn't know any better, you would think that the Orioles had 3 starters. Miguel Gonzalez, Wei-Yin Chen, and Chris Tillman. Because that's all the Rays ever see. And that's exactly who they're going to see in this series.
Yep. 1-1 to count on Paredes. Xavier Cedeno and Brandon Gomes busy in the Rays bullpen. Now 2-1. Two. Carnes not yet to 90 pitches. And a cut in the miss. He strikes out Paredes. A 1-2-3 6th inning. We go to the 7th. 1-0 Tampa Bay. season. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Home run tonight from Steven Souza Jr., his first time up. Put a slider into the seats and left. He'll hit second here in the 7th with Logan Forsythe leading off. Logan had struck out and lined out to left. There's a first pitch strike from Miguel Gonzalez. One. Fly ball headed to center for Adam Jones. One away. So with the bases empty and one out, time to check in with Todd Callis. Todd?
Dwayne hanging out over by the Rays bullpen here. Jake McGee's down here somewhere, and there's some good news coming out of that game Wednesday. Kevin Cash was talking before the game about how he planned to line things up to try and match the zeros from Felix Hernandez. He was going to go to McGee after Brad Boxberger. Unfortunately, the Rays never got there, but that would have been the first time this year that McGee would have been used in back-to-back games. And Cash said that he came in on Wednesday afternoon after the night game and said, I'm ready to go. So that's a good sign for Rays bullpen that they're able to use McGee on back-to-back nights for the first time this year, guys.
Yep, that's the bread and butter of this ball club. The deep bullpen and great defense. Pitch inside to Souza. Fastball off the plate. It's 1-1. Interesting that in the last homestand it was that bullpen and a little mishap defensively that cost the Rays. But night in and night out, that will be at the forefront in any success this club will have. Nice effort there to distribute a souvenir. And that's Souza reaching that time. And with a breaking ball.
Expand the zone with off speed, and that's exactly what Miguel Gonzalez does, and you get Souza Jr. to reach.
Two gone now for Cabrera. Pitch inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Two ground ball outs for Cabrera. One and one. Gonzalez won 10 games last year. He's halfway there already this year. He went 10-9 a year ago, 5-3 now. Oh, Cabrera hit by that pitch.
Was he? I don't think that hit him. The Rays will obviously take it. That ball looked like it had cleared Cabrera behind him. A nice snag by Caleb Joseph.
Take a look.
I don't know. Maybe it caught the back leg of just a seam in the pants. Oh boy. Yeah, you're going to take a look at it.
Buck Showalter thinking along your lines.
But here's the thing. I don't think it hit him, but I think the call going the Rays' way Can you be clear and convincing that it didn't graze the pants? I don't think so.
I would think not.
This would be a stands. I'm putting my money on stands right now.
Yeah, and I'll say this, that if it goes the other way, you might hear Kevin Cash be very direct again about these kinds of things.
Yep. This is one of those calls that whatever's been called on the field, that's probably the way it's going to stand. Because how can you say for sure it didn't graze that pant leg? I mean,
and they're going to let him stay at first base.
There you go.
So the hit by pitch stands. We're assuming the challenge is that it stands. We'll wait and see.
If they confirm that, they may hear from me.
Yeah. They have confirmed it. How about that?
That's all. That is awful. You can't confirm that ball hit it.
So here's Jake Elmore. And a roller to the left side. Machado takes it down to Flaherty. Middle of the seventh. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Seventh, and Nathan Carnes will depart after 6 excellent innings.
Hate to see him go because he was that good. Gave up just 1 hit, a couple of 2-out walks, but I'll tell you what, he commanded the zone with the fastball in and out, mixed in a changeup. You see him get Paredes right there, but the curveball, another nice night for that pitch. He was able to throw it in the zone for called strikes, take it below the zone for swings and misses. And he had an outstanding evening. And
when you look at the big matchup here with Carnes and Gonzalez, and it has been every bit of that, a big matchup. The only thing Gonzalez gave up was the home run on that slider that Souza Jr. hit out.
Boy, just not many mistakes made by both pitchers in their respective outings. And now you're going to turn it over to the Rays bullpen. They need to get 9 outs, protect a 1-run lead, and they'll start with Kevin Jepsen on for the 23rd time.
Jepsen to face Adam Jones to lead off the bottom of the 7th. First pitch in there for a strike.
I don't think it's very often Yeah, I know the Rays bullpen is in a little bit of a tough stretch right now as far as giving runs up, but you're never begging to get to the Rays bullpen. Oriole lineup may be doing that tonight, the way the Cards threw the ball.
Cut and a miss. The curveball fastball combo to start Jones. Jones 1 for 4 in his career against Jepson. He was 0 for 2 tonight against Carnes. Remains 2 strikes. Chris Davis is next, and then J.J. Hardy. So this is the heart of this Baltimore lineup for Jepson in the 7th inning. In a bit. The ball, 2 strikes. Broken bat and a roller up the middle. Forsythe makes a nice play. 1 away.
You know, the fact that the bat was broken, it's going to take some of the steam off that ball. That forces Logan Forsythe to have to go and make a play. Got to charge it, get around it, put himself in good throwing position, and then over to Elmore.
Well, another threat with Chris Davis approaching the plate. Davis has struck out and walked. 1 ball, no strikes. Hit with the curveball that stayed up and away. And so far in this inning, Jepson has been curveball heavy. And a long one. Deep to right. Gone. That on the fastball, and Davis turns it around to tie the game.
That's the fear. That's the fear when you've got a guy, Nathan Carnes is absolutely dealing, and you go to the bullpen, and the Rays bullpen, they've hit a little bump in the road here in the last week. And we talked about naked pitches to Chris Davis. You got to stay away in the hot zones. He likes the ball down. He likes to get extension. That's down and in. Bad spot for a lefty. And it's time.
12th home run for Davis. J.J. Hardy takes the pitch for a ball upstairs. Here's another look at the home run cut.
Well, that's 4th home run in his last 4 games.
And 3-0. Strike 3 and 1. Fly ball center field. And Kiermaier takes care of that. That's the 2nd out. 2 outs here in the 7th. The Orioles have tied it. They've had 2 home runs tonight. One by Souza Jr. and one by Davis. Here's David Lowe. Lowe called out on strikes in the 3rd. He lined to short in the 5th inning. Liner into right. That'll fall for a base hit. Well, the Orioles have a base runner with 2 outs. Caleb Joseph approaching the plate. Joseph 0 for 2, hit a hot shot line drive caught by Longoria in the 5th. Takes that one for a ball. A home run allowed by Jetson, the 2nd he has given up this year. The other one was to Mookie Betts up at Fenway in the early part of May.
Keep your eye on David Lowe. Baltimore Orioles don't run a lot. This would be a situation you may try to gamble, try to make something happen. Tie ball game, 2 outs.
And a move to first sends Lowe back in.
A bit of a lean right there by David Lowe. And
he has attempted 2 steals. He's 1-1.
Well, that right there is considered a runner here for Baltimore. And the fewest stolen bases last year. They're at the bottom of the league this year again.
Pitch taken for a strike. It's 1-1.
Pretty good lead there by David Lowe.
And a bit up with the pitch. 2-1. Well, each team with a run. Each team now with 3 hits. Runner goes. Pitch is a ball, and the throw in time, right on the money. So they cut down low trying to steal, and that ends the inning. But the home run by Chris Davis ties this game through 7. It's a 1-1 contest. This game is tied 1-1 as we go to the 8th. Rene Rivera reaching for the first pitch and missing. That's a strike. Our game summary presented by Golden Diamond Source. Home run by Souza in the 2nd. Home run by Davis in the 7th. And Nathan Carnes, a great outing. He will not get a decision. 6 shutout innings. And the bullpen again touched for the long home run tonight.
That's now 7 straight games the Rays bullpen has given up a run. You don't see that very often, but that has been the trend, and not a good trend, because the Rays play a lot of close games.
Well, the bullpen has to be a major part of any success the Rays can have. Still a 1-2 count on the foul ball. Gonzalez in the mid-80s in pitch count. Meanwhile, 45,505 the attendance tonight. The second home sellout for the Orioles. 4-5-5-0-5. Ground ball third, gloved by Machado. One away. Now Kevin Kiermaier. Gonzalez starts his 4th time through the order. It's too low. 1-0. Lifted into left, and Lowe is there to catch this one. 2 outs in the 8th. Coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. BA and I will be around for our postgame coverage from Camden Yards. We'll hear the Kevin Cash press conference, and Todd Callis will have interviews from the clubhouse. Joey Butler. Pitch is a strike. Been a tough run for the Rays here recently, and for Kevin Cash. And not much offense tonight against Gonzalez. And that margin for error continues to be razor thin for the Rays. And it's highlighted with the bullpen touch for the long ball in the last few days. A ball, 2 strikes. On the top of the 8th, Jake McGee is throwing in the bullpen now for the Rays. Butler fouls it back.
And you can't help but be impressed with the way that Miguel Gonzalez has thrown the ball here tonight. He's been on point from the get-go. Made one mistake to Souza Jr., but other than that, he's mixed his full arsenal to these Rays hitters and moved the ball all around the zone. Just never a comfortable at-bat.
Close right there. You can almost see Copa thinking about it.
How in the world does Joey Butler not go after that pitch? That is right there, just off the plate, down and away.
Well, he fouls it. And Joseph out for a quick exchange with Gonzalez.
Asking him, what do you want to do right here? Do you want to slow the curveball down on the outer half, or do you want to run that sinker down underneath the hands of Joey Butler that he threw earlier in the count? You've got a hitter now that's looking on the outer half. So I think you either change speeds out there and go with the curveball, or you pop one in. Probably going to stay away, you would imagine.
And he got him. He went away, broke it out there. And Butler's out on strikes for the third time tonight. We're tied at 1. Miguel Gonzalez, the 31-year-old right-hander, has been excellent tonight. Again tonight against the Rays. This is becoming a habit. Just one run on the home run by Souza Jr. And he has, other than that, been dominant.
You could almost see that 2 hitters into the game, the way that he was commanding his pitches to both sides of the plate. And that line right there, very, very impressive. Has not hurt himself with the walk. Made the one mistake to Souza Jr. Boy, he's had the Rays numbers so far. Just 2 earned in 21 1/3.
And the T-Mobile game changer for Baltimore in this season series between the Rays and the Orioles. Pitched 5 2/3 in his first outing of 1-run baseball. 7 2/3, nothing on 4 hits the last time, and 1 run in 8 innings tonight. Jake McGee, the new pitcher. Caleb Joseph leading off. Sends a popper foul to the opposite side and out of play.
And just to tie up Miguel Gonzalez so far, how about this? Talk about pitching ahead for success. 0-2 and 1-2 counts. He had 21 of those.
Wow.
2-0 or 2-1 counts 4 times. That's it.
That's amazing.
It really is. Well, that line's not surprising when you look at numbers like that.
21 of 29 with first pitch strikes. He made just the one mistake, and Souza hit it out. Joseph sends a fly ball short right center, and Souza's there for this one. That'll be Ryan Flaherty. Flaherty has walked and has struck out. 6 innings, no runs, 1 hit for Nathan Carnes tonight. Jepson 1 inning, 1 run, 2 hits, the home run by Davis, the big blow. Here's Flaherty facing McGee. And a breaking ball. He started to go and apparently checked. That's an event when you see the curveball from Jake McGee.
Nobody threw their primary pitch more last season than Jake McGee.
1-1.
And he averaged in the mid-20s of fastballs before you would see any type of a breaking ball. I mean, it was just one heater after the other. That's what all of these hitters are going up there looking for.
95 away, 2-1. Forsythe handles this one. 2 outs. Same 2 clubs tomorrow. We'll be with you at 3:30 on Sun Sports. It'll be Erasmo Ramirez for the Rays against Wei-Yin Chen. Ramirez the last 10 games 2-1 with a 3.30. So he has more than held his own in those last 10 games. Machado takes a strike. One and one. Ball, 2 strikes. Lower part of the zone.
The very lower part of that zone.
And he drops that one in. Oh, hook to that one. It missed 2 and 2.
You could probably count the number of outings that Jake McGee had last year where he featured 2 breaking balls in the same inning on one hand.
Yep. Easily. Jake, the third Rays pitcher. In a 1-1 ball game. Pop right side, headed for the stands. And we'll do a 2-2 to Machado again. So Machado 1 of 8 with 5 strikeouts in the head-to-head matchup with Jake. He got him, cutting a miss, and Rivera staggered a bit on the backswing. Apparently he's all right. We'll go to the 9th, tied 1-1. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife by Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. Checkers. Get Checkers authentic Philly cheesesteak or try the new meatball sub. Pick yours, 2 for $5. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We'll head into the 9th inning. The Rays and the Orioles tied 1-1 from Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And Darren O'Day is the new pitcher, making his 20th appearance for Baltimore.
Now, an impressive line, too. ERA of 1, a strikeout an inning to go along with just 2 walks. Of course, he's going to give you that very difficult to deal with arm slot, tough on righties.
Well, Evan Longoria will lead off against O'Day. And Evan 2 for 13 with a couple doubles off O'Day. And what a different look he gives you. Fastball is high.
Right-handers, 51 plate appearances, 51 at-bats, 6 hits.
When you put it that way, Longoria is a little bit ahead of the game.
Oh, yeah. Longoria, with those numbers, mashes Darren O'Day. Way above the curve. That's how good he is and how tough he is on right-handed hitters because of that arm slot.
There's a base hit into center field. And the Rays put the leadoff man on in the 9th inning.
Evan Longoria, a strong man, and that pitch sweeping away from him. He takes it right to the end of the bat, but strong enough to line it into center field for a leadoff single. He just tracks all the way out to the end. Good plate coverage.
Well, David DeJesus in 3 at-bats without a hit against O'Day, and 1 for 3 on the night. Pitch away. Be out of play. Rays got a run in the 2nd when Souza Jr. homered. The Orioles got a run in the 7th when Davis hit one out to right. Longoria picking up the 4th hit for the Rays with a leadoff single in the 9th. A little close and up. 2-1. Hop shot into the seats. Takes the count to 2-2.
The Jesus will be looking to use middle of the field the other way from this point forward, unless for some reason Darren O'Day is able to yanks one of these pitches in close to DeJesus. Trying to shoot the ball the other way, use the other side of the field. They're going to go backdoor slider right here.
Lifts it up the left side toward the line. Going to be foul, and Lowe cannot get over there. Jesus. There's a battle going with O'Day. Base hit into right. Longoria advances to second and stops there. Snyder's throw back into second.
Well, that's exactly what Darren O'Day did. He yanked a pitch middle of the plate, middle in to David DeJesus, and that allowed him to get out and around it. And when you're able to do that, you can pull the ball in the hole with authority. You see this ball coming in, ends up middle, and David DeJesus just hammers that ball, and the Rays really with something working here. 2 men aboard, nobody out, and a guy at the plate in Logan Forsythe who can handle the bat. Can lay down a bunt, and maybe look for that here. Manny Machado in to talk to Darren O'Day and Caleb Joseph as they go over the defense they're about to employ.
Forsythe, 1 of 3 with a walk against O'Day. And the Rays, for the first time in this game, with Longoria advancing to second, have a man in scoring position. Take a look at that.
No chances. Wow. Well, you're expecting bunt here, but you got to look out for the crash play, and that's what Baltimore may be thinking about doing here.
That's a ball.
I'll tell you what, you look at the corner infielders for Baltimore. Manny Machado, 3-4 steps onto the grass inside of third base. Same thing with Chris Davis over at first base. Ready to pounce on any bunt by Logan Forsythe. But I'll tell you what, when you've got guys creeping in that far, that opens up the middle of the field to try to just poke something through.
And that's a foul ball. A little contact, and it's 1-1.
Well, this is one of those situations where if Logan Forsythe swings the bat, doesn't come through, everybody jumps all over Kevin Cash. How do you not bunt in this situation? But you can't bunt into the teeth of the defense if the Orioles are going to run the crash play. You bunt right into a force out at third, and if you bunt it hard enough, you can turn 2.
And he checked in time. Vic Carapazza down at first. Rays will take it.
Gladly.
2 balls and a strike.
That's one of those swing pitches. 2-1, 1-2. Big difference.
A 1-1 ball game, top of the 9th. 2 on, nobody out. A 2-1 count to Logan Forsythe. Fouls are right back over the screen. 2-2. Miguel Gonzalez outstanding for 8. Now Darren O'Day in the 9th. And that hits Forsythe to load the bases. Longoria goes over to third with DeJesus at second on the hit batter.
Well, that fastball ran up and in. Logan Forsythe, he's a guy that stands at the plate and he holds his ground. He's not going to concede anything. You see him just kind of lean in, knowing that pitch is going to hit him, and take it right off the shoulder. Take one for the team, truly. And now you got bases juiced and nobody. No excuse here.
Steven Souza Jr. up here against O'Day. And that pitch stays inside. And And time call. Dave Wallace heads to the mound. The veteran pitching coach of the Orioles. Full-scale conference. Longoria, DeJesus, and Forsythe at third, second, and first. Souza Jr. with 2 at-bats against O'Day, and he struck out each time. He is counted for the only run the Rays have tonight with his 8th home run of the year. 1-2.
He does the training with the tee. He does the training with the glasses and the small yellow balls. This is where you've got to go back and remember your Frisbee training that you've done. Because that's what you're going to see right here again. And if Darren O'Day throws anything but that pitch, he's a fool.
And he strikes out Souza. So O'Day, after missing on the first pitch, found his sights and came right in there, and Souza's out on strikes.
That may have been part of the reason that Dave Wallace ran out there and said, hey, listen, Frisbees. And he takes this one just a little bit further off the plate and gets the chase.
That's a big strikeout for O'Day. Now it's Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera hit by a pitch his last time. The pitch is a ball. Tied in the 9th, bases loaded, 1 out. Longoria is the runner at third, and that one stays wide. 2-0.
And Darren O'Day realizing that he's going to have to come out over the plate here. He tried the sinker and he overthrew it for ball 1. Tried a backdoor cutter right here to catch the outside corner. Ball 2. Left-handed hitters have had better and more success against him than the righties, and he's got to throw a strike here.
And it's foul back.
One of the few pitchers that can actually make the ball rise. And that's Darren O'Day when he comes down under and shoots that fastball high in the zone.
Evan opened with a base hit, now at third. David DeJesus at second. It's Forsythe at first. Ball 3. 3-1. So it's come down to this.
The Rays have been proficient at earning the bases loaded walk and a run. Can they do it here? Either that or Asdrubal Cabrera should get a real good swing at this if it's out over the plate.
Ground ball, foul. And so we go to 3-2.
Boy, if I'm Darren O'Day right here, backdoor slider. Backdoor slider is the pitch. But can he execute it?
Well, he has had some issues in the Saudi doing that.
Just watching you take that deep breath as you contemplate that. Yeah, it's a gutsy pitch.
Here we go, 3-2. And he strikes him out.
Well, he went with it. It's the right pitch. It was a gutsy pitch, and he did execute it.
So after loading the bases, strikeouts of Souza Jr. and Cabrera, Joseph and O'Day talk it over as Jake Elmore waits to step into the batter's box. Well, Jake singled in the third. Well, if it looks like a strike, hit it. And he takes strike one. Oh, it's such a different look.
And by the time you get used to the release point and you get honed in on it, you're already 2 or 3 pitches in. And you hope to not be down in the count.
Elmore behind 0-2.
Well, this would be an absolute travesty to load the bases like this. Nobody out. And nobody moves. A ball not put in play. Jake Elmore down to his last strike.
O'Day a pitch away from getting out of this spot. Elmore takes it for a ball.
How do you take that? I swung at that up here. I reached and swung at that up here. That was a nasty pitch by O'Day.
Look at this from center field.
Okay, maybe he's starting to get a feel for what O'Day's trying to do. Drop one in somewhere.
And he takes ball 2. 2-2. Well, why wouldn't this happen? Bases loaded, nobody out. 2 strikeouts, 0-2. Now we're 2-2. You think this would be the action pitch? Ground ball. That's a fair ball and out on the force at third. O'Day pitches out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam. The Rays leave him loaded in the ninth. There's Machado stepping on the bag. Still tied. After loading the bases with nobody out, the Rays leave them that way.
Well, things were looking real good for the Rays. Bases juiced, nobody. And then the strikeout of Steven Souza Jr., 3 straight to put him away. Then the gutsy full count backdoor slider to Cabrera. And then Manny Machado over the bag, on top of the bag. Darren O'Day, a pump of the fist. And now Brandon Gomes on. Bottom of the 9th, on for the 16th time, ERA of 2.20. 14 strikeouts and 16 in a third.
He'll face Travis Snyder to open the bottom of the 9th. The first pitch is a strike. Baltimore tied this on the home run by Davis in the 7th. Foul out of play. 0-2. Gomes pitched an inning Monday in the series against Seattle. Gave up 2 hits and a run. And the pitch is down. Snyder and then Paredes due next, followed by Adam Jones. Just missed the corner. It's 2-2. Hot shot foul the other way.
Well, speed him up to slow him right back down. It was a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Travis Snyder was way tardy on that pitch. You can bet that he's thinking about gearing it up here. Might be the time to show him the split again.
2-2. And he hits a tapper over the mound. Barehanded attempt. And Cabrera cannot make the play. An infield hit for Snyder, leading off the bottom of the 9th.
Well, off speed, it stayed up. Travis Snyder hits a chopper. It gets over Brandon Gomes. A long way for Cabrera to go, a do or die type of play, and right off the fingertips. Ball looked like it stayed down just a little bit. Cabrera expecting more of a bounce. He didn't get it. The Orioles get a base runner.
Here's Jimmy Paredes. He is 0 for 3. And a big cut of foul ball, strike 1. Rays playing the shift. Longoria alone on the left side.
Longoria covering for the bunt. Right in with the cut of the grass.
Cut and a miss. Missed the fastball. That's 0-2. And he strikes him out, a big swing. And again, that backswing got Rivera. That's 2 in the last 2 innings. Machado got him in the 8th. Paredes gets him here in the 9th, and they'll look him over.
See, as he was sliding over to block that pitch that was down and in, and it caught him, didn't catch him flush, kind of a glancing blow, just a tap. Rivera able to stay into this game.
Well, they're going to get a runner at first. Cabrera will run. Cabrera runs at first for Snyder. Adam Jones, the hitter. Swing and a miss. Big cut. Jones chasing the pitch out of the zone.
Now he's up there to swing the bat. There's no question about that. Brandon Jones will be looking to pitch around the fringes of the strike zone and try to retire Adam Jones. And you got to keep your eye on Cabrera down there at first base. 2 for 2 in the stolen base department. Rays outfield playing deep, no doubles.
Going to move to first. Cabrera's back in. Cabrera talking with Carapazza about the move.
The coats and balk.
Pop up, foul ball. Elmore near the dugout and trying to reach in and could not make the play.
That Oriole coaching staff down there not giving up any ground, and Jake Elmore was kind of screamed out from that play.
Yeah, and Kevin Cass wants to talk that one over with Ron Culpa.
You see everybody kind of holding their ground. You're forcing him to reach in over the top of people. And I think once that pop-up is on their side of the screen, they can stand right there like fans.
Two strikes the count to Jones.
By the way, that last pitch, don't put it there again. That was a hanger right out over the plate.
Again over to first. Cabrera's back in. He's had the bases loaded, nobody out in the top of the inning. Could not get a run across the plate. 1-on-1 out here in the bottom of the ninth for Baltimore. And it's low, covered up by Rivera.
Boy, and a nice job of coming up with that cleanly, because Everth Cabrera was looking to go to second base, but the fact that Rivera not only got down and blocked it, but was able to scoop it, keep it in the glove, that kept Cabrera at first base.
And again, a snapped over first. Cabrera's back in, and what a pick by Rivera.
Boy, a couple of opportunities here for Everth Cabrera to move up if there's any kind of a rattle. That ball rattling out of the glove, and another really nice scoop, and now looking to make a play.
Two and two the count to Jones. Liner into center. Kiermaier's there. He'll fire back to first, and it's not going to be in time. So Cabrera getting back in ahead of the throw. Jones lines to center for the second out. Chris Davis is now due up. Here's Kiermaier making a play on the runner at first.
They had all his momentum working that way.
So 2 outs. Chris Davis due. Pitching change coming. 2 outs. Chris Davis tied this game in the 7th when he hit a 95-mile-per-hour fastball from Kevin Jepson out of here to right field.
Well, he hit that one to tie it. He'll be looking to do something here to try to win it for the Orioles. He's going to face Xavier Cedeno, who's on for the 15th time, an ERA of 1 in 9 innings of work, 9 strikeouts. You've got to make your pitches. We talked earlier, Chris Davis, he's got holes in his swing, but boy, oh boy, he's a guy that prefers the ball down in the zone and wants to extend his arms.
He is 0 for 2 in matchups against Cedeno, but hitting .289 this year against left-handed pitching with 3 of his home runs against lefties. So it's Cedeno and Davis. And Cabrera, the runner at first. He's pitch running for Snyder. That's in for a base hit. Cabrera's going to go to third, and it will be first and third. Davis didn't waste any time.
You know, you're almost better off going against Chris Davis with a right-hander that has a good elevated fastball. You know, these pitches like this, you know, the ball's breaking away from him, allows him to get extension. He knows Cedeno is being brought in to attack him with the breaking ball. And like you said, Dwayne, didn't waste any time. Shoots it right out there. Cabrera over to third, and now got a lot of different ways to score him.
That's it for Cedeno. Back with the new Rays pitcher in a moment. To third. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th in a 1-1 ball game, and Steve Geltz gets the call for the 21st time. He'll be facing J.J. Hardy.
The 25 strikeouts and 20 to third, and right here is your ball game. J.J. Hardy, the Baltimore Orioles shortstop, 0 for 3 on the night.
Geltz in his 5th game of the year against Baltimore has not faced J.J. Hardy until now. Hardy 0 for 3 tonight. And the pitch is low.
And that's the other thing that you worry about. The pitch close to the dirt. Rene Rivera's going to have to be technically sound, continue to make plays.
Line drive, base hit into left, and this game is over. Orioles score a run in the bottom of the ninth and win this game 2-1.
All about taking advantage of opportunities. The Rays did not. The Orioles did. That's why they're going home victors.
And O'Day, who got himself into a bases loaded, nobody out situation in the top of the ninth inning, will come out of this with a win out of the Baltimore bullpen. Gomes will be the loser. And here is the game-winning hit.
Back-to-back breaking balls. Got a good look at the first one. This one's a little higher in the zone, even though it was down. And he rips it. J.J. Hardy rips it in the hole, and that's it, baby.
So the Rays go to 2-5 against Baltimore. And they fall the game under 500. Cabrera scoring the winning run on the base hit by J.J. Hardy. Baltimore takes game one of this series 2-1 to 6-0 for the Orioles, 1-5-0 now for the Rays in the first game of this three-game series. We'll be with you tomorrow at 3:30. Our coverage begins on Sun Sports for Game 2. For Brian Anderson and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. If not the outcome, Rays live the postgame. Next, we will see you there.